How can we dampen unwanted vibration sound? You know, when you got some piece of appliance or some machine or something that's like annoying vibrations. I remember back in the days when old computers, they could have this vibrating sound from the chassis and stuff like that. But I had this problem recently with this one, my dog cage in my car, and if there are any dog owners out there, maybe you'll recognize this problem. It's the same thing. When you're driving, then the steel plates, they start to vibrate, and this is really annoying if you're gonna go for a very long drive. So I got crazy, of course, after just an hour in the car, so I had to find a solution. And here's one. It's like a self-adhesive little mat, a couple of millimeters thick, and it's heavy. You add mass with this one. So I bought one of these, very cheap, and I just cut them into pieces, and I put them on my dog cage, especially on the ceiling here, because that's where it was a big rattling area. It's kind of like a very effective loudspeaker, you could imagine it, because it's pumping air up and down. But when I add this heavy mat and I glue it on top, it's much harder to move that ceiling loudspeaker. And my car journeys are now very pleasurable, so that's a good idea. Actually, I had a question about this on how to make a typewriter more silent. You know, these old ones with a clack 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 clack, and there's a lot of resonance in them. So that's why I came across this little tip. So maybe you could hide this inside somewhere in the typewriter if there are some big surfaces that radiate sound. I'm also thinking about this for my, what's it called, in the kitchen, where the kitchen sink, that's the English word, yes. The kitchen sink here in our house is very noisy, so when our son goes to bed and we're gonna do some dishes or something, it's kind of like banging a cymbal, so it's horrible. But I have a piece of these mats out in the garage, and I'm gonna do it and put it on the kitchen sink beneath it where you don't see it, and I think it's gonna be more like boop 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 instead of crash when you do that thing. So I hope you can use this tip if you have some kind of device or machine or something that's annoying you crazy. Check these out. The heavier the better, of course, but it's good if they're a bit cheap too, so you go with that. And in today's video I want to show you something that I don't recommend. This is like a little style mismatch. I have a blue jacket here, and today I'm wearing blue jeans, blue pants, a bit of nicer jeans. And when you have these two together, they're a bit too close. It's not enough contrast here, so it just looks a bit wrong. So if you want to do this look, you're much better off with a full suit like this, because then you'll have the same fabric in both the top and the bottom, both in jacket and the pants. So this will look much nicer. If you want to have blue and blue, you would be better off if you get enough contrast so you can separate them. And like these ones, for instance, I think this would create a much better look, because here you got enough contrast. Well, actually, I'm starting to get some contrast in these pants because they're getting old, and I washed them plenty of times, so the color is going away from them. But then it also looks bad, but for another reason, because they are worn out, and maybe I have to degrade them to some kind of dog pants or something like that. Anyways, please send me questions. I love to answer them. Real questions from real people. See you later.